Don't look now, but it's a whole new world of weed out there. Pot is flower, it's Bruce Banner and Blue Dream. You've got bongs and dabs, resin and shatter, vaping and edibles, new terms, new strains, and new ways to use cannabis sativa, the plant. Some just made with CBD, and hemp has minimal THC. There's sativa and indica strains, and 100 chemicals, all legal in 10 states for adult use. There's a lot to get to know. Get used to it, folks, because it's legal in the Bay State and it's not going away. Neither is In the Weeds with Jimmy Young next. Revolutionary Clinics is just one of 49 medical cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts, but there's a reason why it's one of the most popular. It's their patient-first philosophy. All day long, they teach, they educate, they communicate about this complicated plant called cannabis sativa. That's true whether you visit their Cambridge location in Fresh Pond at 110 Fawcett Street or at 67 Broadway in Somerville. Revolutionary Clinics, where the patient comes first. Hi, everyone. Welcome to In the Weeds with Jimmy Young, a special podcast available on all your favorite podcast channels of Spotify, iTunes, and, of course, available on the CLNS Media Network and the C-Suite Radio Group. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Young, but I'm so proud to be in the studio with two Canna Moms, Elizabeth Damron from New Orleans and the Canna Mom, our friend Joyce Gerber. Not from New Orleans, from Cambridge, Massachusetts. First of all, ladies, thank you so much for coming in today, especially Ms. Damron, who flew in for a very special event in Maine this weekend.
And boy, are my arms tired.
Oh boy, she's giddy. Bada boom. Yeah, first of all, even though this will probably air after your event, what is the event you're going to? And you are presenting there and moderating a panel too, if I remember correctly.
I am. It's the Veteran Smokeout hosted by Vocal Productions, and it's a weekend-long festival to support veterans' access to medical cannabis. There are many vendors and bands that are going to be coming in. I have the fortunate pleasure of hosting a panel. Women in Cannabis panel. Yay! Thank you so much.
You guys do rock, by the way, in the cannabis industry.
Oh, yeah.
Do.
Yes. I mean, I have the book, by the way, Ashley Picillo's book in my office now, Breaking the Grass Ceiling. It's profiles of 32 women entrepreneurs in the cannabis business. Soon to have a second edition, and I'm sure both of you will be in it.
Yes.
We should. We should be.
So it's a week. It's like 12 noon Saturday to 12 noon on Sunday, isn't it, or something like that?
Actually 12 noon tomorrow on
Friday
to 3 p.m. Sunday.
Oh boy.
Yes.
With musical acts.
There's going to be a separate education village from the musical stage. So if you're not feeling the band, go over and check out the different panels, the different speeches. It's going to be a really good time. Actually, Uncle Pete Trenchmontagne from Uncle Pete's Relief is going to be up there, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I'm kind of a fangirl, and I get a chance to sit and do a short panel with him and ask him all the questions that people are dying to know, which is actually really pertinent to what's going on with us in Louisiana, because he was so instrumental in Maine in getting some of these patients' rights and the caregiver things going on, and it has affected the veteran community really beneficially. So I'd like to take some of his wisdom and some of his insight and see if I can't, work it in to the Cajun area down there and see if they'd be open to that. So it's going to be a really good time. I'm very honored. I'm super thrilled. I've never been to Maine. Truth be told, it comes out. I've never been to Maine.
It's the way life should be. I'm reading that right off the postcards.
Have you had lobster?
Of course.
Oh, okay. So you're fresh Maine lobster.
That's right. And that is the place to go for that.
That is the place to go, yeah.
And Joyce Gerber, you are now the host of the Canna Mom Show.
That is true.
It's another new production for Pro Cannabis Media. We're very excited about it. In fact, I'm already jealous that you've had more opens on your pilot than I've had on my In the Weeds show. Not that I'm sensitive to these things.
That's right.
Yeah, it's totally girl power in the cannabis
energy.
world. Tell us about the first few shows. Who were the guests? Give us a little synopsis on that, if you don't mind.
So we did a nice pilot episode with my friend Cara Crab Burnham, who is a advocate, activist in the cannabis world, and she has a great story about how she changed the policies at one of our Boston hospitals when her child was born because she was a medical cannabis user, and DSS is they're mandated reporters to DSS, and she had that policy change. So good for her.
That's awesome.
We love that.
Love that. And then this week we just released my friend Candy Leonard, who wrote a book called Beetleness.
And I read it,
And Jimmy read the book.
which is amazing because I read maybe 2 books a year.
And he enjoyed it,
I
people.
did
So
enjoy it.
Beetleness.
Right?
Yeah.
He's already mentioned the 2 he's read.
That's right. Thank you very much.
He was on vacation
God,
last
you
week. He had a
noticed
lot of
that, didn't
time.
you? That's right. A lot of time coming off vacation. There's a couple more.
So that's that. We're actually talking with a revolutionary Canna Mom, Barbara Van Hoosen from Revolutionary Clinics in Somerville, Massachusetts.
Awesome.
She'll be coming out. That episode will be out in about a week. And Amy Ryman, the Canadian Canna Mom. So she has a great site called Hip Lives. And moving forward, we're going to have more great women guests and Canna Moms out there telling real cannabis stories from real cannabis moms.
It's great. And I see why there's an opportunity for anything new.
Mm-hmm.
And because women seem to be so much more empowered now, whether it's the Me Too movement and the aberrant behavior of other males in I'm not proud of my gender, let's just say, never have been, by the way. That being said, just why do you think that women entrepreneurs are making such a mark in the cannabis industry? Elizabeth.
Well, no pressure.
Less pressure.
Yeah.
And if you want to pass to Joyce to answer it, it's okay too.
I have my own take on
it's
it.
like password.
Right? No, it's a really, really great question, and I love to stand back, as a psychologist, and I like to stand back and I like to observe, and I see that, one, there is a very real synergy with the female energy and the female plant. I mean, it really is. I know it sounds.
That's right.
We're
talking about that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's hippie-ish. So well, don't take my hippie card, right? Just because it's 2019. But there really is a real synergy. But also in the way that women are more in tune to the needs, they're a little more intuitive. I'm not saying that men can't be or aren't, but it's a different time. There's an energy shift. And I think that, the strong, empowered women that are ready to share their stories and to not be in the closet about, being a mom and using cannabis for whatever issue they have or to help other women, like in talking to other women about their cannabis use or their involvement. It's this coming together.
I agree.
And it's really super powerful. It really, really is. So I'm honored to be a part of it and to watch it all unfold. It's like, yes.
And I will say the flip side of that is that, a lot of times I'm 54, so there's always been a situation coming up where there was one woman in a situation and the women, honest to God, weren't really all that supportive. And I have noticed a big difference in this industry.
Yeah.
So I hope that that continues.
And you continue to advocate and educate your Cambridge community too, which I commend you for. And I know that there's a very special event coming up at your local synagogue
Yes.
that might be featuring
Really?
Dr. Jordan Tischler.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So I'm active in my temple. I've become my grandmother, and they
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's another
and
thing.
I was asked by our women's group if I would do we call it a Friday night, a Shabbat table talk on cannabis, and I reached out to Dr. Tischler, who happens to actually have an office right across from our temple, and he was not only excited to do our event, but would love to do other events. So any other groups out there looking to have a knowledgeable doctor, me come in, talk about the whole new world of weed, I think it's a great I don't know.
Great opportunity.
Great opportunity
It
just to
is.
hear for the first time to hear what this is, because there's so much misinformation, and we come into trusted communities and we're going to give you good information.
I think that's a great
That's-
thing. I'm so proud, by the way, Joyce, of the host that you have become.
And that will be another show, another Canna Mom show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's a lot of, that is really exciting. It's exciting to see that you're doing it at a Shabbat table. It's exciting to see that, you were invited to do that. It's exciting to see how receptive this is. It's exciting to see that it's Dr. Tischler. I mean, we've been interesting. That's actually how Jimmy and I met. I was listening to Dr. Tischler talk.
That's right.
This is really, again, it's just like, it's really powerful watching everyone come together like that.
And everyone has a cannabis story.
Yeah.
You've been in this for quite a while. Jimmy's been in this for a while. And, this sort of almost started as a joke. But as soon as I tell people what I'm doing, everyone comes forward and wants to tell me what they're doing, where their grandchild got them, or their daughter, or the ladies in my temple talk to me all the time about this. I just think it's amazing and awesome. So I'm happy to share, and I'm happy to help educate.
That's cool. They're open.
And by the way, the fastest growing group of cannabis consumers, and I'll admit this, older adults. A recent study out of NYU supported by, all these studies are done by the drug abuse and substance abuse groups.
I mean,
when they say, we need more research on this, we need more research, they've been like 30,000 studies on cannabis. What's wrong with it? It's got to be addictive. It can't be this good for you. It can't be healthy for you. I guess it might be. Anyway, they are now, it's an annual survey of 70,000 Americans of all ages. And basically it found that over a 4-year period that the prevalence has increased by 27% increase for 50 to 64-year-olds. And get this, 107% for those 65 and older since 2012-13 survey. And of course, they again compare it to the 06-07 survey. And by that, if you compare it that way, 625% 65 and older. So what does that tell you? What do those tell you more than anything else? As you get old and the pain increases and your body breaks down, you can supplement by learning how to use cannabis properly, dose properly, and with a responsible use of this product can improve your life. And why not? When you get older, you want anything you can get to get you out of pain.
Right.
We're just biology. I keep saying that. We're rebalancing our systems. This is just something that's always been part of human history. We took it out for 100 years, and now we're putting it back in.
Yeah,
it's great stuff.
It is, and it's amazing. You're right. Knowledge is power, and to see people coming together and willing to, I wish there were more sharing in the empirical side of things, but there is, and it's happening, but to see all this information now verify itself, and then verify itself, and then, well, my grandfather used it, my uncle uses it, and, whatever, my rabbi uses it, or, whoever, like somebody, uses for whatever reason. And now there's this qualitative testimonial data to back up these studies that most people are hearing about and this and that. And it's like, it is an individual process. So dosing does become nuanced, but you got to find what works for you. And if it works, why not, right?
And as my friends keep pointing out, even typical medications take a little while to figure out. We all process things differently. Right.
You can take 200 milligrams of ibuprofen and it won't touch anything.
Right.
It's why I believe the therapeutic dose is 800 milligrams. And that's just an example of an OTC drug, ibuprofen, that everybody uses. Because everybody's body is different and everybody has different metabolism. And so, anyway, I do want to go back to Elizabeth because she does come from New Orleans, Louisiana, the Bayou. And down the Bayou. And they just had a news event within this past week of this recording where they opened up the first medical dispensary.
That's right.
And Elizabeth, as someone who's been on the Cannabis Advocacy Board in Louisiana for a number of years, how actually I could see it on your face. You were so proud. You were so proud. You were like, you're like, hey, this actually happened, and you knew you were part.
Marijuana.
That's right, Mama.
Right?
Mama Marijuana. I love that. That's great.
I love it, right? You can't see on camera, but I have neon leaf print pants on. It's, We don't have camera people or videographers to pan down to see the pants because I think it would throw our color balance off completely. But this is true. They're truly neon, yeah.
Seriously, I saw it on your face. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And now that you were there, one of the things that you pointed out to me on the phone was the expense.
Oh my gosh!
Of the tinctures, So now that it took you forever to get this done, tell us the story of the woman who the bill was named after. Allison, was it Allison? What was it?
It was Allison Newstrom. Yeah, it was Allison Newstrom. And. Oh my gosh.
All right.
It's hard. I was like, it's a little
It's
tough.
someone you knew.
Yeah. And in working, it is a small community, and you don't necessarily realize it. But when you start reaching out, you're one little advocacy group, but then you end up, you guys all know each other. And in June 29th of 2015 is when they signed the medical program into law because of Allison.
Right. And it was because Allison was she a wife, a daughter of a sheriff? that was always the lobbyist against this, but there was a relation she had with a law enforcement officer, and that's when the tide turned by the law enforcement people down in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, it did, and it's unfortunate that it took somebody passing away to make people realize that this is real and make people realize that we're not just here to sit around and smoke pot and, be stoners. Hey, this is a real medication. This is really saving people's life. I mean, it saved my life.
Yep.
It would have saved hers.
Yep.
It would have saved the child that also died, while waiting for our program to come on board. And it's unfortunate. It's the truth of it, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but things happen, and it can't be waiting for somebody's life to not continue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
A life-threatening event
Exactly.
makes your open-mindedness, obviously, and say, whoa, I got to try this because I'm dying here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because of some writing on the paper. So it's been a long journey, and it's been very, very, very emotional. It's been, my gosh, but on both ends. So it's been exciting. It's been a lot of tears, a lot of hurt tears, but to see the program open on Tuesday, and to be there in my own state, not that I was born there, but it's home now. I'm a now native. And, so it's like to walk into this dispensary and see, wow, is that my prescription? It's me? Really? Like, did I just drive up here in Louisiana and this actually happened? And I shed some tears, and it was really exciting to see
People changing the world.
Yeah. But, it's like it actually happened.
More importantly, she did a Facebook Live from the parking lot reporting for Pro Cannabis
We did
Media.
see that.
And we all saw that, and we were very proud of you. I told Francesco that I would be sending it to him because, he's not on Facebook or whatever.
Of course not, no.
Who would do that?
I know.
I'm going to throw out one other study that has been released recently and then get your reaction to it. This was actually done at the Arizona State University, once again by the substance abuse world, and it will be published in an issue of the Drug and Alcohol Dependence magazine. And these were researchers who analyzed self-reported cannabis use among boys ages 13 to 19 in Pittsburgh. And they got a group of 1,000 boys to take part, and it was examined in the 1980s. Because they wanted to see the effect of cannabis, of teen use in the adult world. And they concluded after another question is that, let's see, adolescent cannabis use is not associated with structural brain differences in adulthood, which is one of the first arguments all the prohibitionists use. What about the kids? Well, guess what? Get them off alcohol. Because alcohol can kill them.
And sugar.
Yep.
And sugar.
Oh, and sugar.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
You had to ruin it.
You brought the Canna Moms on. What did you expect,
I have such a sweet tooth, as you know. And, sugar is the evil drug. No, it's not. Come on. Anyway, it's sweet. It is. I know. I get it. But I found that fascinating. I love the fact that there are actually people thinking about this kind of thing in the 80s and say, let's take advantage of this now.
Yes.
Get these, and they separated them into daily users, never evers, once in a while kind of a thing.
Yep.
And they separate all that. It's a fascinating study, and I just like obviously the results of it. And
because that is the thing they told us would happen. You would smoke pot, you'd ruin your brain. That was pretty much the message.
Your brain.
Yeah.
Right.
Your brain on
Over
drugs.
and
Right?
over and over again,
Pan,
yeah.
right?
Oh my God. But
Just say
guys,
no to the egg on the pan.
Yeah.
I know I am 62. Well, we'll be in a couple weeks. And I know a lot of people my age that smoked regularly, used it regularly in their teens. Okay. In Newton, Massachusetts. I'm not going to name any more names. Okay.
How dare you.
I did it. Okay. That being said, I still managed to get through Tufts University and graduate. I still managed to have a decent career for about 35 years. The last 10 we don't have to talk about. No, I'm only kidding. I'm here now and we're doing this.
You're here now.
That's right. And a talk show host is a talk show host for life. This is what I tell people. Why would I ever stop talking to people? This is what I do, Anyway, so I always say, use me as an example. And I took 10 years off completely straight from age 32 to 42. Anyway, that being said, that's me.
But
that's
again,
my
you're
story.
you're using it in a context. I mean, maybe it was actually helping you get through. You know, it may have helped
Well,
you focus. It may have actually
no.
helped you, like, calmed you down. It
I
may have
didn't
helped
really.
you.
No, wait,
No,
are you
really.
telling me that
Yeah.
that I have issues like that?
No,
It may have
Jimmy,
taken
no,
it may have taken all that
no.
stuff out of your brain, so you're able to do the one thing that needed to get done.
That's
so.
right.
mean
That's
focus?
exactly right. The 70s, we didn't know what ADHD was. We thought it was boys being boys.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
This
that's
is true.
Yeah.
this is how that's how they describe me anyway.
Right.
And yeah, it made you hyper focus on the task at hand, and that was schoolwork, or that was taking copious notes in
Right.
class.
Yep.
And I'm not going to tell you, it helped. What can I
course
tell
it
you?
helped.
It
I
helped.
mean,
It got me.
it-
Like I said, it got me through it.
I mean, now we give kids whatever we give them, all sorts of other things.
Adderall.
Adderall. We give them
Right,
Adderall.
which,
So-
by the way, the only time I took speed in college was once because I had to, cram for an exam that I probably didn't do as much homework on that I probably should have.
Right. I don't. Okay, look. I just have to tell you, I am like super against Adderall. I mean, really, it's like the worst thing in the world. I mean, you're this far of a molecular structure off. I mean, it's essentially methamphetamine that we're prescribing people, and then, but I get crap because I use a natural plant that I can grow in my backyard. Are you kidding me? Like,
And that's
You know?
everybody, it's an argument that people now use on a regular basis, and it's frustrating, especially with all the special needs kids, all the kids that are getting diagnosed with ADHD and other diagnoses and other things. So
Right.
that being said, it's
Yeah.
as we know, it's a different world now.
Right.
You girls, you women are shaking things up. I hope you continue to do it. Joyce, I'm very proud of the Canna Moms show.
He found me. Look, he found me, and now here I am. Like a puppy, I just followed him in, and now I'm a TV host.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Ba-dum-bum.
That's right. So keep it up. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to more very special editions of the Canna Mom. Elizabeth, so great for you to fly in just for this show. I'll be taking you back to the airport, and to fly home. No, I'm only kidding. Look forward to talking to you
Pretty
more
much so.
and hearing, and you might also see Elizabeth on this week's News Dabs.
Absolutely.
I might just add. So, for Elizabeth Damron, for Joyce Gerber, I'm your host of In the Weeds with Jimmy Young, and I want to thank also Dan French, our director of this program today. Dan is a new
Thanks,
member
Dan.
of our team, and we're so thrilled to have him.
Very proud of him.
One of the most experienced 20-year-old young people that I've ever met in the television business. I mean that, Dan. So, for that, again, remember, it's a whole new world of weed out there. Use it responsibly. Revolutionary Clinics is just one of 49 medical cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts, but there's a reason why it's one of the most popular. It's their patient-first philosophy. All day long, they teach, they educate, they communicate about this complicated plant called cannabis sativa. That's true whether you visit their Cambridge location in Fresh Pond at 110 Fawcett Street or at 67 Broadway in Somerville. Revolutionary Clinics, where the patient comes first. In the Weeds with Jimmy Young is a video podcast produced by the Pro Cannabis Media Network for the entertainment and education of our audience. All opinions on this show should not be considered medical advice or reflect the opinions of the management of CLNS Media, Pro Cannabis Media Group, or its marketing partners.